Okay, welcome to the stream. That was just playing a preset to kind of open things up. It's called Evolution. It's the default preset when you select the OPx-4 plugin, and it just sounded really nice, so I thought I'd open with that. I kind of the music I do is more ambient, as you may know, and using an MPC for that may seem kind of insane to some people, but it's actually very, very good for it. I love it I love using music equipment that's made for one thing for something else, and this was definitely not made for drone music, but it's got the sample memory and these plugins, particularly OP4. The OPx-4 is really, really good. So here's what we're gonna do. Okay, I need to get this camera situation fixed. I keep moving is the problem. I keep moving and then I can't see myself then you can't see me. Not that I think anybody really cares to see me. They're here to see the OP4X, but hey. So let's dive into that. I will say that the plugins are where it's at, and I'll do another. I've decided to do a series of live streams on the MPC, kind of using it for an out of the box use case, or a outside the normal use case of making beats, and I'm going to use it for more droney stuff. And also we're going to deep go into how I really think that from a sampler standpoint, this is the best hardware sampler that's ever been made. Particularly with the new 8 layers synthesis engine, it's 10 years too late, 20 years too late for a hardware sampler, but it's amazing what it can do. And not just for drums. We're going to get into that into a future one. But for right now, the OP4X, or OPx-4, I always want to read it backwards for some reason. I think it's because of that damn teenage engineering thing. They had to call it OP. Anyway, it's a 4-operator FM synthesizer, which normally, 4-operator FM synthesizers, everybody wants 6 operators. Because of DSP limitations, the MPC can only probably handle 4. But Akai has done something I really, really like with them, in that the modulation depth goes well into crazy. This is something you don't often get. Usually, particularly like on the, if you think of the Korg OP6, when you have a two operator relationship, the maximum depth you can get without using feedback only lets you go so far. It still tries to save you from yourself by controlling the depth. The other thing I really like is that rather than there being an algorithm that you have to select, with the OPx-4, it's a grid. And they stole it from Native Instruments FM8 plugin, and you just hook things up. You just say, I want this to go to that, this source and this destination to modulate each other. And so right here, you can set up feedback loops by having it go to itself. You can set up anything you want. You can create very crazy modulation algorithms, things that go way beyond what you see. And because of the screen size, it's easier to do on here than it is like the OP6, as I was saying. The OP6 has better physical controls, but here you've got a lot more that you can do. And each operator has its own envelopes that you can see. Just crazy. The FM matrix goes back here. And then you've got filters. It has actually 2 filters. So an FM synthesizer with 2 filters that can be series or parallel. It's got an LFO in here, but 2 LFOs. And then this utility section that has just velocity curves and ramps and other things that you can do. And then envelopes. It's got, 6 envelopes. So you've got an envelope for every operator and every filter. The only FM that's close to this is, if you're familiar with the Kronos, and I know Garen is, if you're familiar with the Korg Kronos, there you have the same kind of crazy amount of resources. And then to go one up, they also added a sample layer that you can add. So underneath all of it, you can kind of tie it all together by having a sample that plays underneath it all, which is really, really useful with FM synthesis, because sometimes you need just a little bit something to give it a little more beef. And then it has the submixes, and then there's more here. There's in the submix layer, this is for busing the effects. Pardon me. And then you have the 3 effects buses. That was a global effects. And then this crazy thing, this crazy mod matrix, which has 8 pages of 4 destinations, so 8 times 4, 32. And it's everything you would ever want. It's one of the best modulation matrices, pardon me, I've ever seen. It's really just crazy deep. And then there's setting. These are just where you can set various settings for the patch. But now I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to just find an excuse me, an initialized patch in here. I know there's one here somewhere. There we go. And we're going to FAFO. So here we've got right there, that's just feedback, because you see I'm in the 1-1. This means how much FM modulation is going to go to operator 1 from operator 1. So that's feedback. And you can also set these both positive and negative, which can be very useful when you're trying to work with, trying to get a certain phase relationship between the operators going. But here we'll send... I don't know why this is not working as I expected. Oh yeah, probably because the operator 2 is not turned on, does not have output. Operator 2. Oh, that's interesting also. Each operator has like a pulse width, performance setting, this FM filtering, and this FM shaping, which I don't even know what those do really, but... destinations. Turn on that back on. Now let's go back to the... I'm kind of confused why these aren't doing anything. They don't seem to be. Because it was... That's the feedback. We're only hearing operator 1, and I don't know why that is. Says they have a level and they have a pitch. That's the overall patch volume. Aha, here we go. This is where we'd set the outputs. You can actually set each operator to its own effects bus. So that's pretty amazing, this page here. So you could have like 2 operators doing something going to one effects bus, and the sample layer can also be going to its own effects bus, and you've got this nice little mixer here, and I've never seen anything like that on an FM synthesizer. So you can create layers within a single patch that do a lot of crazy stuff. Let's figure this out. Why am I not hearing operator 2? Go back to FM matrix. Oh, there we go. There we go. And these are the envelopes. Let's make them all. Ah, there's velocity sensitivity in there too somewhere. Wonder if that's in the mod matrix by default. Just turn off all the modulations that are put in there by default so we don't have to deal with them. Oh, sorry. You'd think I owned this thing for like 8 years that I'd know how to use it, but that's obviously not true. Filter. Filter has a nice drive on it. It's not something you expect from an FM synthesizer. Oh, and the filter types, there's a lot of different types of filters on here too. In addition to you have a 1, 2, 3, and 4 pole low pass, 2 and 4 pole band pass. These HP2 plus LP1, HP3 plus LP1, which sound familiar if you've owned an Ensoniq synthesizer. And then there's HP4, HP3, HP2, HP1, band reject filters, just a whole bunch of them. And these, I don't know what these AP filters are, but I don't know. And I think there's a vocal one in there too. Pardon me again. But there we go. Let's see. Go to envelope 1 and the attack. Oh, and you can set the curves on the so the envelopes have modes. They can be loopable envelope. That's probably correct, Garen. I've just never never tested, played with it. Oh, and on the MPC, if you want fine control, you hit the shift button, and if you want to put in a value, just double click it, and then you can say 5. Like that. That is nasty. I like that. But let's go back to the operator thing and do something a little bit more sophisticated. Right now I just have all 4 operators going to alpha, going to the first operator 1. Turn that off. That's just kind of weird. The MPC, it's fine. I'm just not a touchscreen guy, so but this does work fine. It's actually very, very good, Peter. The in other places I use it, but I'm kind of a physical controls guy, so. Let's see what the effects will do to this thing. Oh, let's give it a chorus. Let's make it crazy so that it's easy to hear. Oh, because nothing's going to bus 2. That's right. I'd have to go to. I wonder if you can set one submix to go to another. Doesn't look like it. Oh well, we'll do it this way. Operator, because I didn't do anything with it. Operator 4. I'm going to have that go to operator 4. It's going to modulate. Scale the envelopes as well, so that you can make them shorter. Let's see. Let's go into the mod matrix and put a LFO source LFO. And we're going to target the filter cutoff. Unipolar, that's fine. Let's go to the LFO and give it some settings. Oh, there we go. LFO. Different shape though. I want a triangle on that. Give it a fade in. About a 1 second fade I'm gonna set, let's see if we can get second order modulation going. I'm going to do a bipolar. Source is going to be LFO2, and the target is going to be level 1. That's the carrier operator, and it's going to be 100%, but it's going to be set to 0. And we're going to say unipolar source modulation wheel, controller 1, CC1, mod wheel. Target is going to be let's see, there's so much in here. Basically, every parameter in the synthesizer can be modulated through the mod matrix. I can't believe how well Akai got this so right. Turn those on. Also, let's see where it is in here. Filter 1 overdrive. Let's see if it's in here. Where is it? Oh, that's the source. Source is the mod wheel. I'm looking for the wrong thing in the wrong place at the wrong time. Okay, filter 1 drive. I think I just saw it. Oops. Forgot to change the mod destination before I hit that and it shut everything down. That is definitely a very fun patch. Yeah, that didn't take very long. I've only programmed a few patches with OPx-4, to be quite honest, and they're always like this. You just kind of play around. FM is one of those, is a type of synthesis where I think some people can know exactly what they're going to get out of it. For me, it's much more FAFO. Just keep tweaking until something pops out of it, and just keep adding things until you have something that sounds usable. Hello, this world needs a hero. Are you the hero we need? I hope so. I think this FM synthesis is the hero I need. Sounds like there's just a little bit of clipping. Somewhere in there. I don't know if you heard that. Yeah, I've had MPCs going back to the 90s. I had an MPC. The first one I ever owned myself was the MPC 2000. But in the bands I was in, we'd used an MPC 3000 in the studio and an MPC 60 at one point as well. Was there an I don't know if the MPC, I think the MPC 1000 came later. Yeah, but I've had all of the, I've owned almost every MPC since then. The only thing I haven't had is an MPC X. I had a 1 for a little while. I bought the original live and I got the 1 when it came out to replace that, but I missed it just didn't feel as good because I like the bigger pads. Then the MPC Live 2 came out and I found a demo MPC Live retro, and it's just my belief that this is the only color scheme that an MPC should have. It just feels right. So I love my MPC to death, and I've used it a hell of a lot. I'm really not happy. I'm going to do a whole video on this at some point about why I don't personally like the new 3.5 operating system, which I know can be a little controversial of an opinion in the MPC community. It was, they basically, with that update, destroyed the way I used to do live sets. Because you could, each sequence in a live set could have its own tempo, it could have its own instrument set, and you could completely reconfigure all the MIDI routings just by going from one sequence to another. So I would have a few sequences that were used for one song, a few sequences for the next, and it was easy as just turning that dial. Now the way they've set it up, that's all gone. The entire way that I used it live is no longer possible. And when I load old projects, they're completely destroyed. So thank you, Akai, for destroying a decade of work on the platform. I'm really unhappy about that. I'm going to try not to go off on it. And then what's worse about that is they then took the Akai Force, which I also have, and took the worst parts of this and put it on there. It's like, thank you for nothing. Thank you for making your equipment. It's very useful in the studio, but its use case is completely different for me now. And if I were to use it live, it would be as a tone module with another device, which is something I will definitely do on a stream in the future. I'm going to use the MPC as a tone module with my Oxy 1 Mark II. Or Oxy 1.2, whatever they call it. That was really stupid branding on their part. But it should have been called the Oxy 2. Yeah. It needs a hero. I'm what you call old. So I started out making industrial music in the 90s, literally using those MPCs to sample me banging on garbage cans and mufflers that I found in the mall parking lot, and turning them into instruments. And then over time, I've kind of mellowed into a more ambient workflow. One thing I definitely don't like is when I go to save, I have to select the folder that I want to save the patch in. Oh. Let me go back to, save MPC data, my synths, and I'm going to save this. When I go to hit save again, I have to go find that place again. It's really stupid. It should remember where I just saved it so I can save it again. Well, I wasn't going to say anything, Garen, but you might want to start, adopting goth culture, because then, being dead is cool. But no, we're not dead yet. I'm just, I'll be there soon enough. So that's a cool patch, but let's now go. Let's look at some other patches. Let's see what they did in here. This is Cyberbase. Oh, and it should be noted, if you're into Poly Aftertouch, Poly Aftertouch is a modulation source in the MPC, and I believe the pads transmit it. But their keyboards do not have, I don't even think their keyboards have Aftertouch. This little controller that I'm using does not have Aftertouch on it, and the Poly Brute and the Hydrasynth that I have made me love Poly Aftertouch. So at some point this controller is going to have to go, and I'm going to have to find some way of fitting a Aftertouch controller on my desk. That's not a bad patch. Let's do something else. Industrial baton. I personally think that in 2025, if you're releasing a workstation keyboard and you're not including Poly Aftertouch, you failed. That's my major problem with the new Korg Kronos, is that you could have put Poly Aftertouch on there. You have it on another product, on other products. but they didn't. So that was a failure. Don't get discouraged, needs a hero. It takes a while to get good at that. And right now, sampling, I come from old school sampling, so I never use the auto samplers because there is actually a trick to it, and the computer doesn't employ any of those tricks. It usually ends up wasting your memory, and what you end up getting is subpar. But if you learn to sample and create multi-samples properly, it can be you'll get a lot better results. But also, you have the TO5, so why do you need to sample it? Unless you need to somehow manufacture a 10-voice performance, in which case, record 5 voices, then record the other 5 voices and layer them over each other. Remember, we have digital recording, which means we're not like limited by tape tracks anymore. You know, there's good ways to get it. Yeah, Korg should have needs to go to a Kronos 4. And if they include Poly Aftertouch, a lot more RAM, user RAM, and honestly, bring back the trigger pads that were on the M3, because those were amazing. Then I would almost certainly get one again. In fact, to be quite honest, with my current employment situation, I may be selling a lot of gear, downsizing, and picking one of the major workstations to use for my primary music creation. I'm going to keep the Polybrute 12 without a doubt, but maybe it's time to pick a workstation and get rid of a lot of the old samplers, the old sample players, that kind of stuff. Thank you, I appreciate that. Needs a hero. And if you can find your way, you can find it in my socials and stuff like that. I have a Discord where I'm trying to build a community here. So I've been doing this longer than a lot of the people I know who are into music now have been alive. So yeah, I loved my Kronos, and when I sold it, that's when I started collecting all the EMU sample stuff. I kind of went over the deep end on getting that stuff. It's like I realized that I had everything in the Kronos, I sold it, and then I started like replacing the Kronos. I also kind of had a feeling that a new Kronos was going to be on the way, where maybe they'd incorporate some of the Raspberry Pi synth models into it. It never happened. It's hard not to fall in love with a $4,000 synthesizer. Yeah, I bought it for myself as a college graduation gift because at 51 years old, I just graduated college. So I don't know what that says about my abilities as a student, but yes. And it was my gift to myself, which now I have to find a way to pay for after the company said, "Oh, we're deciding to move our security somewhere else." So if you're looking for a cybersecurity expert, call me up. Anyway, let's go look at some more patches on here. I'm not liking the basses very much. They're okay. What do we want to see? How about some synth? That's descriptive. keyboard I have here is also mini keys, and I'm someone that actually learned to play on full-size keys, so nothing will ever make me like this. I'm a keyboard snob. Not bad. Nothing's grabbing me in this folder. Super Sawtooth. Let's see what that is. Doesn't sound so super. I almost never use presets, so just going through these is kind of new for me. Okay. Something weird about the tuning on that I don't like. Well, if you like presets, there are a lot of them. I'll have to check that one out. What time zone? You said 2-ish, and it's already 2:30 where I am. It's not bad. They have a synth category in here called burps. Oh no, that's a preset. I think burps would be an appropriate synth tag, though. That's not useful. Let's see what else we got. We do have Icicle is a preset. Where are we? Is that a preset or no? Icicle is a category in here. Bass. That's weird. 5 p.m. Eastern would be 4 p.m. Where I am, so I'll go look that up. Thanks. That's actually not bad. Digi wobble. That's interesting. And these are all just the FM synth. There's no external effects or anything going on here. This is just what is in the preset. Dubstep bass 1. That's not interesting. A lot of subs. Watery bass. Okay, let's go in there. Let's see what's in the atmosphere. Atmospank. I'll take your word for it, Darren. I'm deaf on one side, so, and I'm wearing headphones right now, so I'm only hearing half of what this is. And like always, I'm sure they put all the interesting stuff on the left where I won't hear it. interesting. Because it doesn't look like there's any FM actually going on in this patch. Oh yeah, you're from Arizona. I don't know what, you guys are weird with the time zones and everything. I'm a chronological extremist. I think we should just get rid of time zones and it's everybody follow GMT. And if you're eating lunch at 5 o'clock GMT, so be it. We'll adjust. It's just a number. This whole, the way clocks are set up, never mind. I think the French were onto something when they tried to go to decimal time, but I'm the only one. This is nice. Power drone. Let's see what a power drone is. Give me a lot more reverb on that, and I could go with it. Okay, let's see. Drums, that should be interesting. Kick. FM drums are fun. You know, I will adjust. Oh. I'm gonna have to sample some of these drum sounds. Okay, this is fun. I'm keeping notes on this one. I love it when a synthesizer sounds broken. Thank you. I appreciate that. I don't have much catalog out there because I very rarely remember to actually release music anymore. It's a long time since I've really put much out there. A lot of what I do is these live streams and stuff, but I really appreciate that. Go check it out, and there'll definitely be more here. You know, bring people here. I'm trying to build this up. Well, what I used to say when people would ask me when I would release music, it's like I don't release my music, it escapes. And it sounds like Needs a Hero follows that same ethic. It's not released. It just kind of one day he breaks it out of creative jail and sends it off. So. That's something I would never use, but kind of fun. Huh. I've been going live a couple times a week since I got laid off. So before that I did it sporadically, but now I'm like building the muscle again and trying to improve it every time. There's some fun sounds in here. But anyway, is there anything else? Any questions about the OPx-4 that anyone wants to ask, or anything they want to see me play with? I'm going to go back to that patch that I had. Yeah, my schedule is going to become, I think, not bi-weekly, twice a week. Once on Mondays, once on Fridays. I'm going to do on, Friday is going to be, FAFO on synth, basically what you see here. I'm just going to have something on the desk and start playing with it, kind of give a demonstration of it. I'm going to start doing a series so that I also learn them, all the plugins on the MPC, which, I was stupid and bought all of them because I had the money, and I waited for sales. But yeah, I'm gonna do one for each one of them. The OPx-4 is the first one. I'll take votes on what the next one is. But then on Mondays, I think I'm gonna do modular Mondays. I'm gonna get my modular synth. I have to move it anyway because of a plumbing situation. So it's gonna be closer and easier to stream with. So I'll do some just modular FAFO. This is the patch I created at the start of the show. So. I guess if anyone has an MPC, I should probably put this somewhere where they can have this patch. I'm definitely not opposed to sharing. I think that's going to be another song. I'm going to have to record myself playing that and push it out there. Gotta work on this. Something is causing when I move the mod wheel. I don't know if it comes through on the stream, but in my headphones I can definitely hear it. when I move the mod wheel, I hear these little crackles and pops. So something about that is pushing the sound engine. I do not have a chroma console. I want a chroma console, and I would say that is a great idea. See, when you zipper it like that, you can hear the zippering. Got to figure out what in the modulation matrix is causing that. I think I know. I think it's the, I was modifying the drive control. I think when the drive gets modulated by the LFO, it's causing the clicks. I will have to put in a bug report that Akai will ignore for the next 10 years. See, you can hear it if I do that. Okay. And with that, I think that's pretty good. No one else has any other questions? You know where to find me on Discord. I think everyone here is already doing the like and subscribe thing because I've got like 7 fans total. I'm trying to get more, trying to build some. I'm trying to build a little community. I've decided I am going to try to see if I can't eventually monetize this channel even just for a couple bucks, just because I'm in a new world of self-employment and every revenue stream counts. So like, subscribe, watch the ads, give me money. I need money. Anyway, and with that, I will say good afternoon. I need to get a drink. These headphones make my head hot. Take care, everybody.